All right, so I'm going to be doing another system design problem. So we're just going to be opening a random number generator. I actually have a time limit on this one, unfortunately, so I have to do this max like 30 minutes. But I think that should be enough time. Back to Bye Go. Last time we talked about a newsfeed system, so now I'm going to just put this 30. Wait, I think I should make this 29. And then jump this to 3 or something. Or was it 4? What was the number for that? Yeah, I think that's good. So 5. This is inclusive, I believe. So we don't want to include 4 as well. 11. Ooh, that's like right underneath what we wrote down last time. A notification system. Oh my god, that's funny because like in the newsfeed system, we were just building we just talked about notification service, but we didn't dig into that deep. So okay, totally down for this. Okay, so definitely I am feeling a lot of things just hearing about this problem. So let's get to it. So design a notification system. A notification system. Let me make sure I got my pen and everything. Yay! Oh, there it is. A notification system has already become a very popular feature for many applications in recent years. And so a notification alert a user with important information like breaking news, product updates, events, offerings, etc. And so it has become an indispensable, I can pronounce that word, indispensable part of our daily life. In this chapter, you're asked to design a notification system. So a notification is more than just a mobile push notification. Three types of notification formats are mobile push notification, SMS messages, and emails. Okay, so I'll just like write that down. I think everyone kind of knows. Do you rate this notification? So there's three types of formats. There's mobile push notification, which I don't know, but it's a mobile push. Well, so I guess that's like others. It's like breaking news, product updates, events, offerings. Okay, so mobile push notification. So it does answer our first question, which is an encapsulation of breaking news, product updates. I'll just call it other stuff, right? But it's anything that you're interested in following through. Actually, I guess I don't really know the details of it. Oh, I think it's whenever your app pushes something. The other one is like SMS messages, and then the last one is like emails. Like not last, but these are the primaries. Okay, so that's it. So okay, that's interesting. This is a lot to take in. I mean, we already see the picture that it's provided, right? Is that we have this notification over here. It Thinkorswim, so it provides some sort of like data of applications that you have on your phone. You can see one for Amazon as well. And then we also have like these numbers that show up as well from our text messages, and we have a email where we can showcase like our emails, which is kind of like another application. This is kind of weird. Okay, wait, let me read this again. So what? So we're trying to build a notification system. Design notification system, which is a feature that is going to showcase or alert users of important info. Okay. So we have designed three types, which is mobile push, SMS messages, and emails. The reason what makes me confused about this, just thinking out loud, is that like for mobile push notifications, when I'm hearing this, when I'm hearing about breaking news, product updates, events, and offerings, I'm thinking about like the apps that are on my phone, and then they're the ones that are pushing notifications, which I will receive in my notification center. And so Gmail is also like another app. So like I don't see why we can't leverage it as a mobile push notification as well. So like yeah, I okay, but I guess they're trying to think that is something that is different. I don't think it is. Okay, well anyway, let's ask some questions to get some more clarity over what exactly we're trying to achieve. And so I guess one thing that pops into my mind is that oh look at that, it says like you have 73 more notification. So it appears to me, so the first question is like, do we like only show a subset of notifications or are we showing every single notification that comes from the application? And so by the look of this image, it looks like we want to get every single notification, which is okay with us. That makes things a lot more easier. So that was my first question, which is, do we put a partial or all notification? And it seems like we are shooting for all. The other thing that I'm curious about is like, okay, that's cool and all, but is it possible for us to like close notifications for specific applications? So I'm thinking when they're saying notification system, we're talking about at the phone level. Like that's what we can control. Like we can look at all the apps that we have on our phone, and then we can decide to like check box to determine whether or not notifications should come from the application. So that's how I would break it down. So it sounds to me that we should have options to block notifications from certain applications. Um, and so I think very similarly, we can block. We can also decide to silent between certain times as well. That's pretty important. And it's like telling me that it wants some of it for phone messages as well. This does not seem that difficult, at least when I'm just reading this right now. Okay, so okay. So what is how can we get rid of a notification? Like is there like a certain process to officially close it? Do we have to like actually open the application and like close it? Or do we can we just like for example, you see the think or swim notification, I could just swipe to the right or something and get rid of it. Okay, so I think really all I'm trying to build is I need to build a notification system that is essentially going to consider three types. It's going to have like notifications from apps, it's going to take SMS and messages, and it's going to take consideration emails as well. Is there a specific order of priority that these notifications should show? Like, should it be apps first and SMS messages and then emails? I think for the sake of simplicity, we can just do applications, SMS, and emails next. Okay, yeah, I guess we just start building this thing. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly it means, but we'll figure it out. So I don't think this is going to require some sort of like DNS and everything. This is like just an internal feature at the end of the day. I guess I need to think about this, right? Is that we are just trying to build a feature that is going to showcase. I'm just going to draw like maybe a fake phone, for example. And so we have all these different notifications that's coming up from the phone, like so. These are all representations of different companies. Notification, notification, notification. So I guess like what it's trying to get at is like okay, so what I'm thinking about is really just using some sort of service bus in order to make sure that these notifications are kept tracked. So like, let's just kind of just draw this all out. Is that okay? So we just talked about how we have apps that push notifications, right? And then the other thing we have is like SMS notifications. And then the other one is email notifications, which they're treating as a separate entity. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. Now that we have all of these guys, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're just going to be pushing data. And so, like, I guess the model of these notification is just going to be. And so when I think about notifications, right? Like let's just look at this. It's not like providing that much data, right? Oh, wait, is it? Wait, what is it? Oh, it's talking about. I thought it was just wanting me to build something like this, but it appears that it wants me to handle these situations as well, where we have to send data. Oh, this is so broad. I don't know what's going on now. Oh, so we want to build notifications from an app. Like, how would an app do a notification approach? It's not like, oh, okay. I think that makes more sense. I think I'm starting to get this. So, oh, I wasted so much time then. I was just thinking we were trying to build this, but it turns out, like, really what they're wanting to build is like, no, like, gathering all the notifications onto the phone is going to be an easy process. It's more about, like, how does the phone get to a notification to send a notification that gets to our phone, essentially. And so to kind of redraw this, it's kind of like this. So we have our phone, which receives the notification, but it's more about, okay, here's our app, right? And it basically has some sort of system that is going to allow us to then push messages, which gets from point A to our phone over here, which sends our app notification. So it's talking about each component of these apps. Okay, so that's interesting. And so basically, our app can do a few things. Okay, that makes sense. So it can either do push notifications from the actual application, it can send SMS messages, and it can also send email notifications. Interesting. And so, all right. So with that in mind, so still same question applies to me. Is like, we can block notifications. Actually, no, I think the phone is going to be doing that themselves. So we just need some sort of functionality to turn off notification on the app itself. And we could also provided options as well, like if it can, when we're saying blocking, we can say how exactly you want to block it. Do you want to block it by apps, SMS, and emails, that type of stuff? What other functionalities is super important? So if I were to click on that, it would have to open as well. So I got my app here, and it's going to need to send some notifications on it. And so what does a notification consist of? Right, that should be my first question. So a notification system, a notification consists of a I don't know, like some sort of heading, right? About like what exactly is happening. Is this going to be like you know, uh, a little description like on the top part? I don't think we need to go further than that, actually. It just needs a heading for it. And then, so it needs to have header data. And then the second thing that it requires is, what was it called? It requires the redirection. The action link. I guess it doesn't necessarily need to have an action link. It just needs a header that we're trying to push down. And so we also need to know if a notification has been read. That is true. So a notification read true or false. That's one other factor to take consideration as well. So it has a header. We need to determine whether or not it has been read, that type of stuff. And yeah, I think that's really the main functionality of it. Is that we just need some sort of alert. I don't even want to call it. I just want to call this an alert or something. And so we actually talked about how essentially this could be from the app. It could be on SMS, and it can also be an email as well that's being sent. So it's going to be sending. I suppose it also might need to send some sort of notification, like some sort of description, right? And so we just need to send that, and we can determine if it's going to be SMS, emails, or it's going to be an app notification, right? So this is the structure. And plus, we need to be able to determine how we're going to be storing this notification. Personally, for me, I don't even think we need to store this inside any type of database. Like, this could easily be just put inside some sort of service bus. Yeah, because I think like a notification is going to be stored inside its own mobile data, right? So yeah, this is what a message is going to consist of. So I'll just like put this inside a box and just say it's called message. So this is our little message, right? I'm just going to move this somewhere else. So our app pushes us a message, right? And it's going to follow a set of criterias from the user. So the user essentially is going to determine some checkbox. I don't know what it's going to do, but we can essentially give it some like a preference, right? Like, like, do you want to like do this by email? Do you want to do this by apps? Right? Do you want to do this by SMS? Right? Basically, this is our indicator to determine whether or not we should send it in all areas. And so what we're going to have is some sort of service bus that is going to handle those things. So we got one service bus, we got a second service bus, and we got a third service bus. And so these are going to be representations of whether or not this is going to be email. This is going to either be an app or something, the app itself, and then, right, because these are just same data models. And then we just like, and based on our services that we use, we just kind of send it over. So this can be an email notification. This could be from email app as well. So sending by email, and then we can do this one by SMS. So that's kind of how we're just delivering the data. Whoa, why is this so fucking annoying? Okay, why did I do this? I didn't think this was a good idea. Okay, so yeah, it's going to basically just service bus, and then it's just going to call our functions, which is, so our API endpoint is just going to just take the contents of the alert description read, and then send the data. And if the message is being shooed off and it's sent correctly, it is going to say true or false. So that's only sending, but we don't know whether or not it's been read. Being read is actually pretty. For emails, we don't need to care about whether or not it's been read. We also don't really care too much about SMS as well, right? So for apps, it's pretty easy to determine. That's something you can internally put in your application, where if it's like being read, you could just say true or false. I don't think the read functionality is as important. We just need to care about the alert and description. And so the way how I will just do this, I'm looking into a Azure function, because I work with a lot of Azure stuff. I just really just see it's just, you know, calling these, which is going to be sending over the messages like so. Easy. Azure functions, and it's just going to send the message. And yeah, these are just going to be individual services to do it. So how do we scale these? Well, Azure functions or serviceless functions are pretty easy to handle. You can all scale if needed. Like service bus as well, you just need to send the message and send it out. I mean, this is really as simple as we can get. I don't really see any more of the technicalities that come with it, besides like these editing functionalities, which are settings, which determines which flow we're going to send it to. But this is how I would design a notification system: is that I will create a clear defined model, and then I will need to make sure that that model is consistent between the email apps and SMS notifications, and then I'll essentially put them into some service bus message queue, which will then go to the Azure functions and send it over. So because we have some time, I'm kind of curious to see like what exactly their solution is. So I am personally going to be reading it. How do I stop sharing? Oh, there you go. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to want to actually read this. Why is this so long? Oh shoot. Wow. Looks like I have missed a lot of parts to this. Wait, no, not really. Oh, actually, I'm not too bad. I'm not too off. I was right about using some sort of service bus. So we have some rate limiting, caching. Why do we need? So we need to have the device setting user's info. Why? Why is that important? So the questions they asked, which was interesting, is like, okay, what type of notification does the system support? Push notification, SMS, and emails. Is it a real-time system? Let's say it's a soft real-time system. We want users to receive notification as soon as possible. However, if the system's under high workload, a slight delay is acceptable. What are supported devices? What triggers notifications? Will users be able to opt out? Yes, users no longer receive notifications. How many notifications are sent out each day? Okay, so we got like the basics of it. We got the model that they created in emails. Contact info. To send notification, we need to gather. Oh, I see. So we actually do need. Okay, so I made a pretty big assumption that I already knew what their email and numbers was, but we don't have that data. So when a user installs our app or signs up for the first time, API servers collect user contact info and stores it in the database. Okay, so we have a users table ready for us to access. Why do we need a device token? So our user IDs, and then we have our user ID, device token. Don't know why we need a device, but it's like last logged in, device token, ID. What's so important? Okay. All right. So that sounds right. What's number 2? Device info notification templates are cache. Source data about users, notification settings. Notification settings as well. So more or less, I kind of designed what we did, except they added some other functionalities. Like they went to the detail of making sure we have some sort of cache with our database, and then we have some analytical service to see what's going on, and we have our service bus. So I kind of got the big picture, which is good, but I think I might have to kind of read maybe again to make sure I get through all the components. But yeah, I think it was a good session.